wrong! If you don't take it out of this room, I might have to just kill somebody. Thank you. Topping Tut. Another pharaoh who may have been murdered is the young Tutankhamun. He was just 19 when he died, and his mummy wasn't discovered till 1922. King Tut's mummy seems to have had a bash on the head. Was he murdered by his ruthless Uncle A, who took the throne? We'll never know for certain, but we do know quite a bit about how King Tut's grave was discovered. It was November 1922, and the great archaeologist Howard Carter had been searching for years for a tomb that hadn't been robbed. The pyramids were all empty. Their treasures had been stolen thousands of years before. The Egyptians had started burying their pharaohs further south along the Nile in the Valley of the Kings. And on the 26th of November, Howard finally arrived at the entrance to an almost unbroken burial chamber. He called the organizer of the expedition, Lord Carnarvon, to witness the final breakthrough. Carter described what happened next. With trembling hands, I made a tiny hole in the upper left-hand corner. Darkness and an empty space, as far as an iron-testing rod could reach, showed that whatever lay beyond was empty. Widening the hole a little, I put in a candle and peered in. At first, I could see nothing. Hot air escaping from the tomb caused the candle to flicker a little, but as my eyes became accustomed to the light, details of the room emerged slowly from the mist. Strange animals and gods, everywhere the glint of gold. I was struck dumb with amazement. Lord Carnarvon asked anxiously, "Can you see anything?" It was all I could do to get out the words, "Yes, wonderful things." Carter spent years uncovering the most amazing and precious treasures. But had he let out more than hot air from the tomb? Had he also released a 3,000-year-old curse that the Egyptian priests had placed in the tomb to protect the king? No, actually. The curse of Tutankhamun's mummy has fascinated readers of newspapers since it first arose in the 1920s. Many of these reports have been inaccurate. Look at the facts and make up your own mind. What would Howard Carter say if he came back from the dead? The number of deaths connected to the Tutankhamun mummy is high, but not so high that it proves a curse was at work. Lord Carnarvon's main archaeologist was me, Howard Carter. Surely I should have died first, but I'll die of natural causes 17 years after the excavation. People who claimed a curse was at work took almost any death loosely linked to the mummy for evidence. My secretary's father died, and that was linked to the curse, even though he'd never been near the tomb or the mummy. The people who believed the curse was true forgot to mention the people who didn't suffer from the curse. Dr. Derry gave Tutankhamun a medical examination and came as close to the mummy as anyone. He lived to the age of 88. Some modern scientists have come up with explanations for the unhealthiness of Tutankhamun's tomb. They believe that the ancient Egyptian germs could have been trapped in the underground chamber. When it was opened in 1922, the germs were still around to infect the archaeologists who visited the tomb. One wild theory is that the rocks around the tomb are radioactive, with the deadly element uranium. Visitors may have suffered radiation poisoning. It is true that the Egyptians had found uranium rocks in their gold mines, but a curse? I don't think so. Mind you, Howard Carter, speaking from beyond the grave there, forgot to mention there are many other stories about mummies' curses. One mummified priestess was sold to America. She was loaded onto a ship and kept just behind the control room, the bridge. It's said that the mummy's curse affected the captain's judgment. It made him steer the ship into an iceberg and sink. The ship was the Titanic. Nice story. But there's no written evidence that the Titanic was carrying a mummy, and believers say, well, the captain didn't record the mummy cargo because he didn't want to frighten the passengers. Believe that, if you like.